all beautiful days. The only thing that could make it even better if it's raining like cats and dogs. Well, it's that old Chinese saying, you got to be careful what you wish for. Follow the weather forecast for tomorrow and Tuesday and Wednesday. So we're all hoping that late to see this will go up. For those who don't know, I'm John Lambert. I'm president of the festival. Yeah, pardon the hat, but it's kind of bright. But I want to welcome you to this, which is the 23rd contiguous festival we've had. The Ojai Film Festival is out of the over 5,000 festivals in this country, there are very, very few that can make that same statement. So we're very proud of that fact, that this little valley of ours and the beautiful community of Ojai has been able to host a film festival for that many years. Of the nearly 5,000 festivals or so in the United States, you have chosen to honor us by coming to this one, and I appreciate it, and we thank you very much. Over the past several decades, our film festival has grown. One of the things we added a number of years ago was a screenplay competition. So besides the more than 350 submissions of films, we received, I think it was something like 50 submissions of screenplays from not only the United States, but other countries. And we celebrate those because they all represent the creativity of more than 40 different nations. The array of talent that we have just with us today, filmmakers, composers, directors, actors, we're all here participating in a celebration of the art of film. And we're doing it in this gorgeous mountain valley that some of us call home. Along with the screening of the selected and juried films, we have a number of focused programs that are being held in the Raymond Room over here. Friday saw a brand new program looking at the world music in film, because the aspect of the soundtrack, of the music that accompanies films, is often lost. It becomes part of the film itself, yet it represents many, many different cultures, as do the films. So we're trying to highlight that as part of an educative process. This is a new program for us this year, and the Ventura County Community Foundation moved to support that program, so we thank them very much. After the awards celebration today, we have another program which we consider to be quite significant. It's on diversity and inclusion, a major part of the social dynamic, not only of the United States, but of all nations and societies in the world. And we also will be presenting our Libby, which is our festival award, for a social impact and vision, which is something we began last year. We are continuing through this year, and it's sponsored by Panavision, a very long time supporter of our festival. Tomorrow afternoon we continue with another part of our festival that's been with us quite a while, which is the Focus Earth seminar. And you'll find films that deal with the environmental questions that, our society and all other societies are facing today, sprinkled throughout the festival. There's another aspect, as I said, which is the screenplay, and the screenplay award this year goes to Pride and Prudence. Fran Everett Irving, and we have a video of a live read of that script, which will be going on today at 4 p.m. over in the Raymond Room. It's a sharp-witted comedy of manners that comes out of the Jane Austen universe, so it's fun. And tomorrow, of course, we have the Gold Coast film series, which is our way of honoring filmmakers of the Southern California area. the intense creativity of this part of the world in which we live. But before we get into the celebratory aspect of this brunch, which I believe, besides the food, most of you are here for, let me attempt to recognize some of the people without whom this festival would not have happened. We have dedicated volunteers that begin in January and work throughout the year to make this happen. And that doesn't count the 80 to 100 volunteers who are here over this weekend, the host families who reach out and allow filmmakers and others to stay with them. I mean, it's an incredible number of people of the Valley and of Ojai that reach out and become part of what we do. And we appreciate that beyond the ability to say thank you enough times. But I will try to call out a few names. I will inevitably leave out many, and I offer my apologies to them, or else we'd be here a lot longer than you want to sit. So let me start with the festival's board of directors. Steve Grumet, who is over here, is both our artistic director, but he's the guy that got us started. He is the founder, with his wife Liz, of the Ojai Film Festival 23 years ago. Bruce Novotny, I saw Bruce sitting someplace in here, right here. Bruce is the coordinator of the Gold Coast series, which is tomorrow. And he's the one that came to us and said, we should be doing a screenplay competition, and he coordinates that too. And it's a terrific thing, and also a board member. Including the board member. Herb Hamming is over here. Herb's been around longer than I have. He's our financial guy and keeps us on the straight and narrow, unless we don't tell him what we do. Richard Sven Shelgren, he's wandering around someplace. Oh, he's over here. The board member, and this year he's our festival director. He is the conductor of the many parts that have to come together to make this film festival a reality. He's also our online video on-demand guru. So the fact that we are able to have a hybrid festival, having a live festival now, being able to enjoy and interact with people watching these wonderful films, and then having them available streaming to your home starting Tuesday and running through the 20th of this month, is because this guy knows what he's doing. None of the rest of us. John J. Udelson, he's about somewhere, I think. Usually is. But he's a go-to guy. He will do anything we ask for. He's also a board member, great contributor. There he is over in the corner. Thank you. We have Rosa Costanza, who has been guiding our diversity and inclusion program and has made it that wonderful event that it is, and offers great insights as we move through the planning stages for the festival. Bonnie Bartling. Bonnie? Yep, right here. Back over there. She's our board secretary and general commentator. We love it. Greg Ray, I don't know if Greg is here today. He's our newest board member, an illustrator and a cartoonist, and we're looking forward to his participation. Bill Munsterman, leaning up against the post. He is our tech guy. You wouldn't be watching, I wouldn't be talking if we didn't have Bill around. He's invaluable. Bill Shields, Buddy Wilds, they're about somewhere there. They not only shepherded all the volunteers to where they're supposed to be going, but they're also taking care of making sure that all the parts of this festival on the ground within our venue of the Arts Center is actually happening. Love it. Lisa Angle, how's that? I'm going to call out Lisa. She is our tech, our social media and marketing guru. She keeps that website up to date and working, and all those kinds of things you're receiving in social media. Sherry Owen here, did she get back?
She certainly is.
Sherry Owen, Carol Munter, who is up here. They're the people you filmmakers have been corresponding with in order to get your housing, and get your passes, and make sure we all got here. Gail Lefkowitz, I'm going to call you out this time. Gail, she's our office manager. She made these things. She's been busy all week sitting in front of a computer producing things, and we appreciate it greatly. There are so many others whose names I'm not going to call out, but a heartfelt thank you to all of those other folks who really make this thing happen. And a big, big thank you to the Arts Center. Yeah. We utilize this as our festival headquarters, and we also use it as a multi-purpose venue, as you can see. And for those who haven't heard, you should be aware that this is the oldest continually operating facility of its type in California. 83 years. We're celebrating our 23rd. This place is celebrating its 83rd. And we thank them so much. They're cooperating, they've helped. They're a major sponsor of this entire festival. Well, I think you're probably tired of listening to me. So allow me to move to the part of the festival that you're here for. We're here to celebrate contemporary filmmaking, to recognize who've been juried as the best of this year's submissions. Now, to help us in that task, we have another well-known Ojai personality who's going to make that happen. Peter Fox. He will MC. Peter is an actor and a writer whose play Acts of God was recently published by the Samuel French Company. He's also written and directed the Cine Golden Eagle Award-winning short film, The Sorrowful Mysteries of Boomer Pastor. He was a member of the Alliance Repertory Theater in Los Angeles, where he served as artistic director for 16 years, also while teaching directing at UCLA. Busy man. He's a graduate of Harvard University with a concentration in anthropology. Peter has served multiple times as a film festival juror. He lives in the Valley of Ojai and has been a member of both Theater 150, which is here in Ojai, and the Arts Center Theater. He resides with his wife Julie and, as he has put it, 2 entitled, ill-mannered cats. Peter Fox. Excuse me while I get my notes. All right, welcome. Look at all you showbiz filmmakers. Attractive looking crowd. This to me proves that age-old showbiz adage that if you provide free food, we will pack the friggin' house. Look around, right, buddy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're with me. All right, so let me start with my notes. Welcome to the Ojai Film Festival and to Ojai. Now, we're glad you made it here, and we hope you take advantage of all that our city has to offer. We have a museum and all these shops and restaurants and famed artist Beatrice Wood Art Center and our Art Center here. And
Pickleball.
Pickleball. Yeah. Anybody playing pickleball, please leave immediately. It's not that kind of gathering. My favorite place in Ojai, for those of you, well, I'm assuming a lot of you, this is your first time here, so I'm going to fill you in a little. My favorite place is called Bart's Books. And to give you a taste of the vibe here in Ojai, for those of you who are here for the first time, which is, I think, most of you, when I first arrived here 18 years ago with my wife, Julie, sitting over there. Look at her. Oh, man. I had come here after 32 years as an actor, writer, and director in Hollywood, and I went to Bart's Books for the first time. This is 18 years ago, and I said to the woman behind the counter, I said, could you tell me where the self-help section is? And she looked at me and she said, if I tell you that, that would defeat the purpose, wouldn't it? So there you have it. That's Ojai is a special place. So I've been a juror here for this year's festival also, and I've been honored to look at all the narrative features and the narrative shorts. and they have all been truly inspiring. It takes courage to make a film. We put them together, and we hope that people out there respond to our intentions and our hard work. And you've all done that. And I'm happy to say that none of our films this year received a review like the one from the noted film critic Pauline Kael, who gave the 1980s movie Can't Stop the Music, starring the Village People. That's right, the Village People. They were very big back then, and some deluded studio exec said, hey, let's make a movie about them. So they did, and it did not go well. So Pauline Kael wrote this memorable one-line review of it saying, "This movie is worse than I had hoped." Fortunately, this year's film festivals, they are all better than what we had hoped, that's for sure. So we're here to honor you, welcome you all to our little town. And by the way, if any of you are thinking of moving here, my wife's a real estate agent, and she'll help you find what you want, and don't hesitate to talk to me afterwards, right? What? Hey, I'm not getting paid for this gig. All right, let's go. Let's get started here. The first award tonight is the Distinguished Artist Achievement Award, which is given to a member of the film and entertainment community who has achieved recognized excellence in their profession. The festival normally nominates 2 awards, one to an actor or director, and a second to someone who represents the people behind the camera. There are people behind the camera? Actor. To the people behind the camera who are not normally seen, but for whom without the film could not be made. So I'm happy to bring to the stage our film festival director, our own Sven Gali, Sven Sheldred.
Thank you, Peter. It's a pleasure to be here. This is the middle of the best 4 days of the year, as far as I'm concerned. It takes a lot of work to put this together, a lot of people behind the scenes, and as everybody's mentioned, we all put together and make this happen. And the talent in the room here that's gathered and in the screening rooms that aren't here today with us is incredible. We have such respect for what it takes to make a film and pursue the marketing and the sale of it, and we are so grateful to have you choose us to enter and to allow us to help you get your film seen. So thank you all. It's really wonderful to bring this event together and celebrate what you've done this year. A couple of announcements about future events. We have 2 screenings so far. There may be a couple more scheduled during the streaming week. I know a lot of you out-of-towners will be gone for that. But on the 13th, Sunday the 13th, we'll be screening the Ojai premiere of On Sacred Ground, which is Josh and Rebecca Tickell's first narrative feature. They are the team that's done a number of environmental films, Kiss the Ground and several others, and this is a wonderful narrative film, which again has environmental concerns, and we'll be hosting the screening over at Matilaha with a fairly large audience capability. So spread the word for that. The following week, on Saturday the 19th, we will be screening a film that originally screened at Sundance earlier this year and got rave reviews out the door, and was said to be a big success, yet received some backlash from an ethnic audience that felt misrepresented, and they have continued to pursue shutting it down. They have intimidated other festivals from screening the movie. It was originally called Jihad Rehab, and the filmmaker has pursued trying to get people to show it. She managed to get it shown in New Zealand. She's retitled it. It's now called The Unredacted. You can Google it. There's some wonderful articles in the LA Times and the New York Times that describe the whole process of why she's being attacked, and it's completely unfair. It's an affront to free speech, and I won't go into the details of why that's happening, but we have chosen, Steve Grumet has connected with her, and we have chosen to show this movie. It'll be the second screening in America. We're going to be showing it next Saturday, the 19th, in Matilaha. We have 350 seats, and we hope to pack the place and get press recognition for this movie. So we'll be posting information online and in social media, and we hope you all spread the word when you go back home. I don't know yet if she'll allow us to stream it. We hope she will. It's likely she could, but please tell your friends and get everybody up here to see this movie. It needs to be seen. So hopefully that will fall into everybody's schedule somehow, one way or another. The other thing I want to quickly thank is our caterers, who have done a marvelous job this morning. They're from El Encanto Restaurant in Camarillo and CP Catering in Oxnard, and they've come up to do a marvelous spread for us, and we're very, very grateful. So, spread the word on that too. We'll be posting their information in our social media as well. Cinematography and sound design are important aspects of filmmaking. Our 2020 award winner, Stephen Poster, was scheduled to be here with us to accept his trophy in person. He had illness last year that prevented it. In 2020, we were only virtual. We had no on the ground festival. So when he received the award, he accepted it virtually, but not in person. He was supposed to come last year. He was ill. He was supposed to come this year. We organized a panel with him. We had to do it on Zoom because he got COVID at a cinematography seminar. So basically, he can't be with us, but his interview will be streamed, and he's going to try again next year. So everybody making your films, look forward to seeing him next year at this same place. Okay. This year's technical award goes to a local Ojai resident who is at the top of his craft right now. His name is Paul Massey. He's a sound designer and engineer and creative artist, unlike many others. He's got an incredible resume. He's working with Ridley Scott. He's working with James Mangold. He just did the David Bowie pseudo documentary. He is an unbelievable mixer and sound design artist. And we did a Zoom interview with him. I'm going to play a couple minutes of it. He can't be with us. He's in London working on one of these films right now, and he's very sorry not to be here. He does come back to Ojai, and he mixes at a new studio he's built in Ventura, and he's promised to organize seminars and meetings during the year with us, with our followers and our students and our local people. So we're very grateful to Paul. I'm going to play this interview that we did with him quickly. It's about 5 minutes long.
It is, but when I get back, it's a wonderful place to be, and it's a fantastic community for artistic growth. I got to say, I'm extremely honored to receive this. I really am. I just to be recognized in this way, or be chosen in this way by my peers in Ojai, which is my hometown that I really, really love. I'm absolutely thrilled to receive this. Thank you.
Paul's wife, Lynn Coleman, is here to accept the award on his behalf. And I apologize for setting up that little moment of sharing from him, but it will be available online.
You know, Paul could have fixed that problem.
I know, he could have. And actually, the fact that he wasn't here is part of my problem. So I apologize. But this is Lynn Coleman. She is Paul's wife, and she'll be traveling to London to be with him on Wednesday. On behalf of the Ojai Film Festival, Paul Massey.
Thank you. He is very honored to receive the award, and he is sorry that he can't be here. He's actually working on Ridley Scott's new movie. He's actually working on Ridley Scott's new movie. What? What's guy do? Okay, somebody's giving me signals. Okay.
No, you're good.
I've never done this before. I'm not the person who ever comes up and gets award. It's too bad you didn't hear from Paul, but yeah, he's working with Ridley Scott on Napoleon right now in London, and he is also he's in between. He works all the time. He's rarely ever in Ojai, even though he does live here. He is as I said, at the top of his game right now, and we're all really proud of him. And thank you very much.
Our second Distinguished Artist Achievement Award this year goes to Jacqueline Bisset, who was in the film Lauren and Rose, and she was scheduled to be with us as well in person. She loves the Ojai Film Festival, and is Russell here? Filmmaker?
What's the last name? We have a few Russells.
No? Okay. I have a clip from her that I think is still on my desktop. So if I make it over there and it's vanished, I apologize. But she did express her regrets, and she sent us a nice little clip. So hopefully I'll have it.
Ojai Film Festival. Thank you very much for this award. I love the word Distinguished Artist Award. I think it's great. I've had a very long career. I've been very lucky. Worked with all kinds of wonderful people. Lauren and Rose is really, for me, it's a highlight. It's one of two movies that really, for me as an actor, really gave me the sense that I was doing work on a level on which I want to work. Some of the films one does in one's career are maybe good, maybe commercial, and many things, but they're not necessarily what one sets out to do. And this movie and another movie called The Sleepy Time Girl, really reward me and make me feel good. And I will be eternally grateful to the director, Russell Brown, and my cast, and Kelly Blatz and Paul Sand and the lovely crew. I feel bereft actually now all of a sudden that I can't be there with you. That's life, you can't be everywhere, but I do try to be everywhere. I do try. And I'm trying to follow the film, and we've been to various festivals, and it's been a joy and a very good reception. So thank you again. And I'm sorry I can't be there.
There were, Russell, the director, and some of the cast were here. Is anyone still present? I know they were also awarded something in another festival in LA they might have dashed off to, but we'll be happy to hold this for her, and hopefully she'll be here with us again. And Peter Fox is still around here.
I've got some clips of my old acceptance speeches, and it'll just be about 20 minutes. Sorry, Sven. All right, our next award was to be presented by Will Smith, but I refused to be slapped, so fuck it. Instead, we have the wonderful Karen Stellwagen presenting the Documentary Shorts Award. Karen?
All right, I've never been compared to Will Smith, so that kind of throws me out of everything I was going to say, but welcome. I love coming here. The documentaries were amazing this year, so I urge you all, the shorts and the features, we always have really interesting entrance to this film festival. I think we attract people who really have something to say about the world and who think deeply, and this year was like no other. And there's 3 of us on the jury, and we spend hours arguing about the merits of each film. So I see a lot of filmmakers in the audience who have films in contention, and I just want to congratulate all of you because it was a great year for documentary and hard to choose the ones that did win. So for the shorts, I have to say this is my favorite film to watch in a long time. It's a short film, but it really struck me right where it counts at just the right time. And just to back up, many, many, many years ago, when I decided to become a filmmaker, I had to move to Los Angeles. And I thought, how in the hell am I going to live in Los Angeles? It's dirty and big, and I'm from a small town, and I'm never going to make it in this city. What am I going to do? And I went to USC, and they sent me to a little neighborhood called Echo Park. And I went to Echo Park, and it was full of artists. There was like the wacky glass house, and there was the wacky metal structure house, and there was the trash house, and there was the stained glass house. And everywhere I looked, the city was just, or Echo Park was beaming with artists who were doing incredible, interesting, innovative, idiosyncratic things. And I thought, okay, I can do this. So life goes on. My life has gotten to be where it is, and I watched this short film about an incredible artist who lives in an incredible wacky house just like those ones in Echo Park. And she's here today to inspire us as well as the filmmaker. And the short documentary is called Powers. And it's about finding your bliss when you need to and letting your artist flag go and no holds barred. So it's my pleasure, and I know the artist is here as well. So maybe she'll come up too, but congratulations to Paige Morrow Kimball. Yeah, really well made, really well shot on an iPhone of all things, and you wouldn't know it, and very well edited. So congratulations, Paige.
I'll be very brief. This is the subject of the film, Lori Powers, who, wow, this is really such an inspiration to me. It's playing at 1 today in the gallery if you'd like to come. But just briefly, this wasn't supposed to be a film. It was my way of staying sane during the pandemic, and I met this amazing woman in my neighborhood. Didn't know who she was, didn't know who was doing the art, stumbled upon her house. And she came out, we started talking, and I realized this was a very inspirational person who just wants to spread joy in her neighborhood. And this film is all about uplifting others, spreading joy. And the fact is, I did shoot it with an iPhone. I'm a filmmaker, but there it was. And I think because she was such a private person, it was really the only way to enter her world. And over a year and a half, we bonded. Thank you for inviting me in to your world. But I just want to say to all of you here, you can do this. You have this thing called an iPhone, and anything is possible with that and with passion, and when you're surrounded by someone so amazing. So do you want to just quickly say anything? She's a woman of few words. But
Yeah. Well, when Paige started this out, I just thought, well, here's someone, during COVID that needs something to do. I don't really have people come in my studio. It's an outdoor studio, but why not? It'll be a kind thing to do. I'm always into being kind. And then she came in, and we started to become friends. And then, the thing with someone who's so personable and caring is that you start to let your guard down, and you let yourself be vulnerable to them, to let them know your story, and what ensues with that also is trust, because trust is the biggest thing we need in life between two people, anybody. And she showed me the first cut of the film, because it started to get more and more intense, and I brought my son, and I was going to let him be the bellwether. And he couldn't stop laughing. So I was like, okay, this is good. So I hope you'll see it. Come down to LA to my studio anytime. I'll show you around the neighborhood and show you what I do and how I do it. And I think that's also the best part, is that I've gotten to meet so many wonderful, talented, amazing people on this journey. I mean, she's the artist, she made it, but meeting everyone here and through all these other festivals has been, that's like a gift back to me. So I appreciate it. And thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you to the Ojai Film Festival. You guys are the best. This is my second time here, and I just appreciate all of you, all the volunteers and staff. Thank you so much. I'm delighted to win this. Thank you.
Paige, she's not a woman of few words. What the hell? All right, where are we? Ojai. All right. Our next award is the Animation Award, to be presented by Kathy Crowther. Crowther. Here she is, Crowther.
Hello, wonderful to be here. I've been here many years, and always beautiful. Always love it. And this year, as in the narrative, in the documentary shorts, all the animation was incredible. It was so hard to pick. I realized I ended up picking 3 varieties of animation. One stop motion, one CGI, computer generated, and one hand-drawn. I didn't realize I was so equal. So we have 2 honorable mentions, and the first one is the hand-drawn, called Bad Seeds, a Canadian film made by an incredible director named Claude, if I can say it right, Cloutier, and he's done all kinds of incredible work. You must see his film, beautiful drawings, and fighting plants and echoing all kinds of things. So that's our first honorable mention. And our second honorable mention is the CGI film called Barking Orders, a student film. And what's so funny about it, it's about the whole royalty in England dying. And it was made the year before the Queen died. And as the Queen died, it was back up on YouTube all over the place. Everybody was looking at it. It was really strange. But just a perfect film. 2 minutes and everything's just, the pacing is just incredible. I hope you get to see that. And then for the best film, which we now call the Sergio Aragonés, let me get it right, Award for Best Animated Film. And we know Sergio, who lives here, the great cartoonist. In his name, we are honoring the best prize. And that goes to Of Wood. Incredible film, and I actually have a note from the filmmaker named Owen. What's his last name? Sorry. I'd have to read it. Owen Clatty. He was a filmmaker, stop motion, worked on all kinds of incredible commercial projects. So here's what he has to say to everybody. I want to thank you and the jurors and everyone at the Ojai Film Festival for this award. I'm so honored that you chose Of Wood out of this fine collection of animated films. I fell in love with animation over 45 years ago when I first discovered the kind of groundbreaking, challenging, and beautiful works being shown at film festivals around the world. Personal, independent films, so unlike the standard fare in movies and TV shows I'd grown up with. Now, after a long and rewarding career in the animation industry, I finally got back to my first love. Of Wood began as an experiment in animating wood in a new way, combining my interests in wood, architecture, literature, history, and environmentalism to create a film I'd hope would engage and may inspire others in the way I was inspired so many years ago. Thank you. So I hope you see it. He took part of the trunk of a tree, put it on his table, and started carving it. And stop motion, frame by frame, did animation with it. It's amazing, all out of wood. Okay, thank you.
Side note, Sergio Aragonés, for those of you who don't know, he lives here in town. was one of the main cartoonists for Mad Magazine. He blew my mind as a kid, which is just a few years ago. All right, so our next award presenter is a film festival board member, and he's the coordinator of the screenwriters competition, Bruce Novotny.
Thank you, Peter. Everyone in this space, whether you seek to make art or seek to make a career, knows that it's not an easy thing. There's one article of faith that's shared by writers and producers, everyone who's looking for good material, that a great screenplay will be recognized. And that's what we try to do. We try to find emerging talent and celebrate them as their work deserves. I'd like to first recognize our judges and thank them. Valerie Levitt and Michael Ewing and Patty Reed have served us as judges for several years and have always done a wonderful job choosing from among the finalist screenplays. This year, among our finalists are Kathy Owens from Hillsborough, North Carolina, with The Prison Club, and Jeff Kaufman from LA with his script Prizrak, which is a modern thriller, really well done. Our winning script will be presented, as John Lambert told you, as a recorded Zoom table read in the Raymond Room this afternoon at 4, and I hope you can join us for that. It's a really witty, really fun, kind of a modernist take on the Jane Austen cinematic universe. It's called Pride and Prudence, and the writer is Fran Irvin.
Thank you all so much. Despite being the screenwriter, I am a woman of few words, so I'll keep this quick. But I just want to thank the judges. I want to thank Bruce. I want to thank everyone here at Ojai for just supporting screenwriters. I took a lot of risk with this script, so I wasn't sure how it was going to go over. So just thank you for encouraging screenwriters like myself to take those risks and let our voice be out there and be bold. And just thank you. And I want to also thank Frida DeLacter. I don't know if Frida's here, but she directed the table read, and she put together an amazing cast. So I hope you can come and view it today at 4. So thank you all so much.
And if you can't make it this afternoon, it will be available in our streaming service, in our streaming period. Thank you.
Okay, moving right along. Back in 2000, Steve and Liz Grumet started this film festival, and in 2001, a short film I made, bringing it all back to me, was accepted at the festival, and I stayed with Steve and Liz, and that's what brought me and Julie to Ojai eventually. So this next category is for Narrative Short Film Awards, and it's presented by Roger Hartman. Roger.
So, I'm honored to present the festival's Narrative Short Awards this year. This year we have 3 of them, the award for Best Narrative Short and then 2 honorable mentions. The first honorable mention award goes to, hope I don't torture this name too much, Alireza Kazimpour's film, Split Ends. You know, rather than say what I was going to, I have an acceptance speech from Ali Reza, so I'm going to just read that. I am Ali Reza Kazempour, the director of Split Ends. It's a short film about the facing of young people with Iran's morality police due to the lack of proper hijab. As you know, about 2 months ago, here come the tears. About 2 months ago, after Masra Amini, a young Iranian girl, was killed by the Iranian morality police. The Iranian women started the most significant movement against the mandatory hijab. They came to the streets with slogans: women, life, freedom. And some of them were arrested, imprisoned, and killed by the regime. I appreciate the jury for choosing my film and dedicate the award to all brave Iranian women. The second narrative short honorable mention award goes to Jorge Camarote's Usman. Usman is an immigrant from Burkina Faso and living in Montreal, who finds purpose when he decides to become a caregiver to his elderly neighbor, Edith. What makes this film refreshing is how it handles the elements of race. Usman is black, Edith is white. Yet this fact is inconsequential as the story focuses on a woman in need and on Usman's heartfelt act of human kindness. I also have an acceptance speech from the director of Usman, Jorge Camarote. From the beginning of this project, I found a lot of resistance. A lot of people said no to me, but somehow all these hurdles couldn't put out the flame that was telling me to tell this story. I wish to share this award with my wife and son, who always supports me, and with my amazing team who works tirelessly in the middle of a pandemic and helped me bring this story to life. I know that it had stayed, if I'd stayed in Brazil, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to become a filmmaker as I did in Canada. And for that, I want to thank the Canadian Council for the Arts and Quebec Arts Council and SODEC, who helped to bring it come true, to my distributor, Spira, who literally made the best choices of festivals to present this film. And to finish, I want to dedicate this award to my grandfather, who once told me, when, despite the odds, I got into art school, "Son, throughout your life, people will say that you're crazy because they won't understand what you're doing, but please keep doing it because I know where you're going." Thanks again, Ojai Film Festival. It's a true honor to receive this award. And finally, I'm pleased to present this year's award for Best Narrative Short to P.J. Palmer's North Star. Again, I think I'm going to skip my remarks and go straight to his acceptance because he's not a man of few words. What a perfect way to start a Sunday. Thank you to the volunteers, the screeners, the staff, the board of directors, the jury, and the audience at Ojai Film Festival for bringing this wonderful festival to fruition for the past 23 years. And I'm going to skip about 1,000 words here and go to the next. A quote from the novel, The Overstory. The best arguments in the world can never change a person's heart. Only a good story can do that. This is something I believe in deeply, Humans are storytellers. We always have been. It is how we best communicate to each other. Connect with each other, and that is why I made North Star, to communicate and connect. This award from the Ojai Film Festival helps amplify North Star and lets audiences know that this is a film, this is a story worth paying attention to. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. DJ Palmer.
All right, thank you, Roger. Roger, there's no crying at film festivals. He's our heart guy. God bless him. All right, next category is documentary feature, and again, we're going to bring Karen Stellwager.
Oh my God.
Stellwager.
I'm just going to introduce myself. It's Karen. Car in the street, Karen.
Karen.
Stellwagen.
What she said.
But I didn't punch him, so that's good. Okay, so I'm back, and I just have to say, while our documentary short winner was inspiring and fun and all about the possibilities of life, our documentary features took a different tack. And they're serious, they're difficult, they're meaningful. I hope you can all watch them. Of all the years I've been doing this, and it's a lot, the 3 winners are unusual films that I haven't seen before, and pretty difficult to make, I think. So let me start with that. The first honorable mention comes to us from Burkina Faso. The filmmaker's actually French, but it's about a young man, 13 years old, who lives in excruciating poverty and has decided to go work in the local gold mine. And when you think of gold mine, it's not some big operation. It's basically dropping yourself down a black hole and coming up with a sack of rocks that might have a few specks of gold. So as you can imagine, it's a pretty difficult film, but it's made with such beauty and such empathy, and it just really, I think, is something to watch and make you think about what we have here and maybe what we can do for other people who don't have what we do. So that's my pitch for that film. The filmmaker, Simon Panay, couldn't be here, so he wrote us. I first came to the Ojai Film Festival in 2018 with my short documentary, Nobody Dies Here, which received the Best Documentary Award. I was really honored to take part in this year with my new feature documentary, If You Are a Man, and so glad to learn that the jury of the festival decided to give the film this honorable mention. It means a lot to me, to all the people who worked on this film, because we know how important it is to show the world stories like Opie's, children who work across the globe in dangerous conditions, especially in the gold industry. We hope the film will help in our project to make a difference and improve their lives. I'd also like to thank the team of the festival, the volunteers, and the people who came to watch our films. You are the ones who give life to our work. So congratulations to Simon. And I hope you all see the film. It's pretty amazing. So our second honorable mention is a highly unusual film, and I hope you all get a chance to watch it. It's called Jack Has a Plan. And Jack does have a plan. He has a plan that he is going to kill himself. I'm not giving anything away, because the whole film is about this plan and how the people in his life respond to this plan, how the people in his life see him through this plan, and what they think about the plan. And I think for me at least, and probably for most of you in the audience, if you've had good friends who've had debilitating diseases or difficult diseases, you've gone through some of this with them. But to actually ask your best friend who's a filmmaker to make a film about it, well, that's something. And so for the filmmaker to do this, to spend several years of his life, I think is something remarkable and not easy to do. And the thing is, even though the film is about death per se, it's really not about death. It's about life and about the joys of life and the pleasures of life and the interesting things that make life meaningful. So I'd highly encourage you to see this film. And the filmmaker, his name is Bradley Berman, can't be here, but Tori Fields, who's actually in the film, is here, and maybe she'll come up and say a few words.
Wow. Thank you very much for this award. I am not usually the person who stands up here and accepts awards either. I think Brad is the one to do that, so I put a couple of notes down. Jack was my next door neighbor. I actually worked on the medical aid in dying policy in California, and it was completely coincidental that I moved in next door to a guy who had just found out about it. And my 2.5 years with Jack Tuller was all filmed. I had no idea what this crazy guy was doing, being followed around with a camera the entire time. And usually as a policymaker, you don't get the opportunity to watch your policy play out in such an intimate way. And I'll be the first person here to say that I did not understand why anybody would choose medical aid in dying. I didn't understand that if they got really good health care, if they got really good support from their loved ones and their friends, why this would be a date that they needed to put on their calendar. And through the 2.5 years of being with Jack and working with Brad to connect Jack to all of the educational resources that he needed in order to determine whether or not this plan was a sound and valid one, I understood. I completely understood why. And this film started out as a series of YouTube, like a YouTube vlog, basically, that got a lot of followers. And we found out from both the brain tumor community and from people who were experiencing serious illness that they wanted to see something more about Jack. And this is really what came out of it. I want to thank Brad Berman for saying yes to his best friend and his best man in his wedding to carry this whole thing out so that all of you could watch the labor of love that a group of friends created for their own. This has really forged a relationship between us as a group of friends and family who understood so much Jack's desire to leave his wife and caregiver of 25 years in a better place than the suffering she experienced. And to also really give a deep understanding for us in our bones about why he was making the choices that he was making. And I want to underscore that while this is all about death, and this is a man who was dying, he also found life and love and trust and community in carrying out and exploring this plan. And my hope is that everybody gets to do that, that we can all really be accomplices in the plan that our loved ones ask us to carry out. So thank you so much for allowing Jack to be the star that he always wanted to be.
I do hope you all get to see that film. Tori was sharing that she's starting like a social impact campaign, and I just think it's so much more than that, just in our personal lives, to start to understand how to deal with death. Americans, by and large, aren't really good with it, and it definitely opened a lot of ideas to me that I hadn't thought about before. So I encourage you to see the film. And it's not a tragedy. It's a really community-building film. So there's that pitch. Okay, so our feature documentary award winner is another incredibly unusual film. I've been watching documentaries many years, and I've never seen a film quite like this. It has the most unusual protagonist. She is deaf and autistic and doesn't have a lot of resources in her life available to her, and has probably been misunderstood by just about everyone who has met her, which means she's been victimized by our system, not once, not twice, but over and over and over and over. And I really want to applaud the filmmakers, because they've been thinking a lot in the last 10 years with the streaming services that people more and more are making documentaries for entertainment. They're packaged. And what brought me to documentary was the big questions in life. And to be able to make films like Jack Has a Plan, I would put in this category too, that aren't really being made to make money, but being made more to help us understand life. It's a big task. So this film is called Being Michelle, and the director is Atin Mehra. And congratulations, this is a difficult film to make and extremely well done.
Thank you all. I'm May Thornton Mehra. I'm married to Atin Mehra, the director. We've been producing documentary films together since 2009. This is our first completed feature documentary film. This is our executive producer, Delbert Wetter. Thank you to Ojai Festival for uplifting this important film. We've spent 5 years of our lives working on it, and we truly believe that it is going to spark changes in our criminal justice system and across our society to provide people who are deaf and people who are deaf and with additional disabilities, people with disabilities who are not experiencing basic human rights in the criminal justice system. So please sign up for our newsletter. Join us. We are going to change the system. And thank you to Michelle. She was very brave to tell this story. I'd love for Del to share anything with you.
Well, I'm using the live transcription app, if anyone was wondering why we're clicking at my phone. I want to say that this is a very special project because of the collaboration between deaf and hearing filmmakers. We worked together very hard, very passionately to make sure that the protagonist of our story, her voice is centered for all of us to see. So many films about people with disabilities have been told through the perspective of people who are not disabled. And in this industry and in this medium, there's room for all of our perspective. That's critical. But it's also critical for us to take a pause, to take a moment and think about whose voices are not being heard or seen, whose perspectives may have been left behind. It's critical for us to make a space for people whose perspectives have not been shared until now. There's a giant wave of filmmakers who are deaf and disabled who are ready for our moment to tell our own stories. And I think it's critical for all of us to think about how we can create opportunities for these filmmakers to begin to tell our stories, to show our talent, and develop our skills in this business, in this medium. Thank you.
There's our new bell in Ojai. All right, our next presenter is a fellow juror of mine. We juror the feature films and shorts. She's here to present the Narrative Feature Award, Heather Havens.
Can everybody hear me? Good. It's always a pleasure to come back to Ojai for the film festival. I lived here for 17 years, and this is definitely one of the high points of my year. Thank you.
I'd like you to meet Mike.
That's better. So I'm going to start with our first honorable mention, which is a film called Night Forest. This film is directed by Andre Horman and Katrin Milhan and produced by Christoph Holthoff and Daniel Reich. It was shot in the Swabian Alps, and it features stunning cinematography as well as a compelling coming-of-age story about a boy who embarks on a summer mission with his best friend to vindicate his missing father. Filled with whimsy and mystery, Night Forest explores the themes of friendship, self-acceptance, and coming to terms with our families, however messy and imperfect they may be. And do we have anybody from the film to accept the certificate? Okay. So I'm going to move on to our next honorable mention. We've already heard of this film today. It's Lauren and Rose. This film chronicles the friendship between an aging actress played by the legendary Jacqueline Bisset, as well as an up-and-coming director. And although they're at very different stages in their careers, they form a deep connection over their shared love of cinema. The film takes place at a restaurant in Topanga Canyon during 3 pivotal points in their friendship. And like a symphony, the film interweaves recurring motifs against each other to offer a profound commentary on the creative process and the compromises that come with the pursuit of commercial success. Lauren and Rose is directed and produced by Russell Brown, and the other producers include Valeria Lopez, Linda Miller, and Linda Brown. Okay, and moving right along, we have The Justice of Bunny King. This is the winner of Best Narrative Feature for the Ojai Film Festival 2022. This is a film about a woman who has lost custody of her children after her release from prison. As she encounters one setback after another, the film offers an unflinching look at how systemic poverty, incarceration, and familial dysfunction can drive a person to make some desperate decisions. The Justice of Bunny King offers no easy answers, but plenty of compassion as Bunny's life unravels despite her best efforts to do the right thing. This film is anchored by a standout performance from Australian actor Essie Davis and is directed by Gaysoren Thavat and produced by Sarah Cook and Emma Slade.
Yeah, that was a terrific film. And she's Maori, the woman who stars in it, is a Maori actress. She's terrific. All right, next we have the Gold Coast Film Series, again presented by Bruce Novotny.
Hi, this time I'm a poor substitute for our intended presenter. When the Ojai community and the film community lost the beloved actor and filmmaker Bill Paxton several years ago, we at the film festival thought it would be a fitting tribute to honor the best locally sourced film in the festival with the Bill Paxton Award. And James Paxton and his family have been very supportive of this, and James was intending to be here this morning to present the award, and unfortunately he came down with an illness and was unable to make it. So it falls to me to introduce a really energetic, resourceful, and talented local filmmaker whose narrative feature, Time Capsule, will headline our Gold Coast Film Series tomorrow evening. Please welcome Travis Greer.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi.
30 years ago, I was a gas station attendant at Ojai, Texaco, down on the corner, true story, down on the corner of Ojai Avenue and Bryant Street, and which is now a yoga studio. How Ojai is that? It was full service at self-service prices, and one day from coming back from rehearsals at Ventura College, I got to work and I put on my Texaco shirt and I didn't have it buttoned yet, and I walk in and there's this Miata that pulls in. First customer. What's up? And he's got this big gas can, and he's got these overalls with the black shirt and the baseball hat and the amber vision blue blocker sunglasses and the shoes with the grass stains on them. And he says, "Hey man, can you fill this up for me?" I said, sure, yeah, no worries. And first thing out of his mouth is, "I went to see Ice-T and Body Count last night at the Anaconda in Santa Barbara." I said, that's great. How did you know I liked Ice-T and Body Count? He goes, "Well, I saw your shirt." And I looked down and it's a Living Color shirt, the band. I said, "Oh, you like Living Color too?" He goes, "Oh yeah, they're great." He goes, "So, is this all you do? You go to school?" I said, "Yeah, I go to Ventura College. I'm an actor. I'm in theater right now." He goes, "Oh, what are you doing?" I said, I'm in Arms and the Man by George Bernard Shaw." He said, "Oh, great play. Yeah, that's cool. You know, numbers are rolling and I'm still filling up this gas can." And he goes, "I'm an actor too." I said, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm going to be in a movie with Ice-T coming up here pretty soon. Yeah, it's a movie called Trespass." And I'm all, "What, is an extra?" And he said, No, I'm actually in it. I'm starring in it." And I said, "Well, that's cool. You know, that's great, man. So what other movies have you been in?" And he said, "I've been in a few." And start rattling off some names. I was in Aliens. I was in Weird Science. I said, "Who were you in Weird Science?" He said, "I was Chet." I said, "You were the older brother Chet? I saw that as a double feature with My Science Project and Weird Science, Carpinteria, 1985. You were Chet." I don't believe it. I'm gonna lift up your glasses and hand to God, he does this. He does the Chet laugh, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's Chet!" And I said, "I'd never do this, and I've never done this since. Can I have your autograph?" And he said, "Absolutely." So he paid for his gas and puts the thing back in the Miata, and he signs it and he hands it to me, and I stuff it in my Texaco shirt. And this was 30 years ago. I was 19. And he said, "Travis, we'll see you around." I said, "Yeah, definitely. What's your name?" "Bill Paxton." I know that. "Hi, Bill. I'm Travis. Nice to meet you, Travis. I grew up here in these streets here, in this town." And as he drove away, going east on Ojai Avenue, I took the autograph out and it says, "Travis, fame and fortune, Bill Paxton." And I still have it. And it's an honor to be up here today to celebrate Time Capsule, our film, which has won the Gold Coast's Bill Paxton Award. Thank you to Bruce. How about a nice round of applause for Bruce? Bill was always on the same level. He was never up here and I was down here. It was always playing field. He always had things to say. He always had things to say about the career and how things were going. And always offers words of advice. And two things he always told me was, what people think about you is none of your business. Unless you're in the Salem witch trials. But then, that's a different story. He was a funny guy. And he also said, "Keep going. Just keep going. Just keep doing the things you love to do." And I did. And so here I am. A few people I'd like to thank real quick. God for making all things possible. I'd like to thank my dad. I'd like to thank my mom, Connie, my mom, Audrey, my wonderful fiancée, Tina, who is here tonight, or today, rather. Thank you, Tina, for putting up with me, because I can be an interesting bunch of people. To Otis Fox, my pastoral counselor. To people that have supported me through the years, such people as Juan Miller, Mike Beard, Amy Novak Rauch, right here in the house. And also Nancy Novak. To Jim Lantine, the producer, my co-producer, and also the director of photography. Wonderful, wonderful man. Thank you, Jim. He's home with the sniffles right now, and I said, "Stay away." because our film's going to be on tomorrow night at Monday night at 7, right? Yeah, come see it. A big thank you to Jessie Mae Stevenson, the cast and the crew, Mike Dominguez, our score guy, Carlos Cervantes, who did the color correction, and Mr. Lee Harry in the house right here, ladies and gents. Stand up, Lee. Say hi, Lee. Yeah, there he is. Lee Harry, our producer, our editor-in-chief, who made the film sound and look and feel the way it should. So thank you, Lee. Thank you for your guidance, your mentorship, and all that stuff. It's very, very, very happy to have you in my life. And Jill, thank you for putting up with Lee with all these crazy years. Yes. And in closing, I'd like to thank Harrison Ford for the inspiration for making Witness in 1985. If it wasn't for that film, I wouldn't be in the business I'm in. And I'd like to thank my brother Jason, who this film is about. It's a story about redemption, and a story about love and being okay in your own skin. He's not with us anymore. Passed away from cancer back in 2000. But I've never felt so close to him since he's been gone. And I'm very, very happy. This award goes out to him, and this award goes out to the cast and the crew who was the cast. I love you. Thank you very much. Peace. I'm out of here. Thank you.
All right, there'll be a 2-hour intermission. All right, we're going to move this along to I got to get this stuff back to Western costume by 2. All right, the next award is the Social Impact and Vision Award, presented by Rosa Costanza. Rosa.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm deeply honored to be part of the festival, and in the last 2 years, to help create and moderate panels for the Diversity and Inclusion Program. We have 2 panels this afternoon from 1 to 4 p.m. here in the Raymond Room. The theme of the festival, reflecting the human spirit through film, is really, we could say, what we've been talking about all morning. I mean, there's so many examples of the human spirit that we've already heard from filmmakers and presenters. The Social Impact and Vision Award explores the breadth and scope of diversity and intersectionality. This is a contemporary issue because we're all taking more action to be more conscious about the needs for inclusion and to raise up the voices of people from traditionally oppressed and marginalized communities. So the Social Impact and Vision Award is presented to the film and the runner-up, judged to best represent this theme. So this is an incredibly difficult task. There were amazing submissions. Our runner-up was for a film made locally in Oxnard. It's called Mariposas del Campo, and I believe the filmmakers should be here. The director, Bill Yaris, and producer, Robin Rosenthal. And I'll have them speak some more about the film.
Here you are. Thank you. I'm Robin, this is Bill.
Microphone.
We made this film with a group of young people from Oxnard who are all from indigenous families that work the strawberry fields in Oxnard. And it really was a collaboration. We would like to share this honorable mention with them. Those of you who are able to see the film, they helped shoot it. They had cameras and they were able to share their lives and their stories with us. One of the young people in the film they all inspired us in very many ways, but one thing that inspired us in particular was the participant, Eni, talked to us about allies, which we all try to be for marginalized groups such as these kids. But he said, Allies are great, we love allies, but what we really need are accomplices. So we hope that by making this film that we have fulfilled that in some way.
And maybe help to create some more accomplices. Thank you very much.
It was really wonderful to get to acknowledge this film, Mariposas del Campo, and I hope that everybody here can see it. The winning film, which the filmmakers were not able to join us today, will win a Panavision-sponsored award. And I'll just mention the film first. This film, Beans, takes place in Quebec and is narrative, but they weaved into the narrative newsreel footage of the actual event, the Oka Crisis, which was a 78-day violent conflict between the Mohawk people and locals. And it centered around environmental issues, land issues. It was the largest conflict between the First Nations and the local government in Canada in the late 20th century, and ended after 78 days in a political victory for the Mohawk tribe. So they turned this story into a narrative of a young 12-year-old girl, Mohawk girl, who through witnessing this and witnessing her family and community's standoff, finds her own courage to stand in herself, in her truth, in her heritage. And one of the most kind of endearing bookends about the film is that in the beginning she's explaining to someone how to say her name, and she gives up. She says, "Just call me Beans." But by the end of the film, she very clearly declares her full Mohawk name. And so the filmmakers, director Tracy Deer, producers Anne-Marie Galinas, Meredith Vacnick, and Justine White could not be with us, but we'll have our festival director, John Lambert, presenting the award and representing Panavision. So congratulations to Beans. And again, I'm very, very honored to be part of this festival, and I hope that you can attend our panels this afternoon.
Panavision has been a sponsor of the Ojai Film Festival for a good number of years. Most of you who are out there who have anything to do with the camera know Panavision. They have superb equipment. They have been very supportive of the development of new cinematographer and new filmmaking. And what they have done is they offer a 1-month package of very, very high-end film equipment worth $60,000 to the winner of our Social Vision and Impact Award. So along with this trophy, which we will mail to Canada, will go a certificate that they can turn into their Panavision office there when they're ready and they're shooting their next film. So we're very happy that they've received it. We love this film very much, and we're delighted that Panavision is making this next project. Any of you filmmakers, you're probably involved in 2 projects right now. So the use of such equipment is always welcome. So we're delighted that they can accept it, and we thank them so much for both Panavision for offering this award and for the filmmakers for submitting that to our festival.
Yes, it was a difficult year to choose in this award category. I just want to say thank you to all the filmmakers who submitted so many amazing films.
All right, I've been asked to present the award for the best student film, even though I'm not being paid anything to do this. It says here that this is the Limelight Award, John? Yeah, right. All right. Let me read the acceptance speech from the woman who made this. The film is called El Carrito. Her name is Zahida Pirani. Terrific film. Let me read what she said. What an honor to be recognized with the Best Student Film Award at the Ojai Film Festival. Thank you to the jury for recognizing El Carrito and to the Ojai Film Festival programming team for including the film in this year's program. I want to thank the entire El Corrido cast and crew, especially the street vendors who were part of making this film. I also want to thank UCLA for nurturing BIPOC, BIPOC, and women filmmakers like myself. I regret I can't be there in person, but please know that I am thrilled by this recognition and that the Panavision camera rental package is an incredible award as I get ready to shoot my thesis film next year. Thank you, Zarita. All right. So she receives a Panavision camera package to the $60,000, something like that? Yeah, great. All right. All right, our next presenter is also myself. Also not being paid. All right. This is, I want to call up our film festival founder and artistic director, husband to the great Liz, and he's going to present the festival theme award, Steve Grumet.
Yay!
Thank you all for coming today. A number of things have changed during the last 23 years since we started the festival. Many things in societies throughout the world. But one thing that has changed for us is that the quality of the films submitted to us increases every year. And I think this year is probably the best crop of films that we've ever had submitted. And I can see that many of the filmmakers who've made the films that we showed this year are present. In fact, I think I can safely say that we have here today one of the most impressive arrays of filmmaking talent assembled in this courtyard since Orson Welles dined here alone. You probably know already that the theme of the festival is enriching the human spirit through film. That's been our theme since the inception of the festival. And every year we honor a film that we feel, of all those submitted, best exemplifies that theme. Now, I always say that any great work of art, including a work of film art, enriches the human spirit. But for this award, we tend to focus on films that make us, that inspire us, make us feel good about being members of the human race, by showing us examples of people who in their own lives are living out the best aspects of human nature. And this year, the film that we've chosen is about 3 middle-aged women, all open water swimmers who live in Chicago, who decided during the dark year of the pandemic that they would try to raise their own spirits by committing to themselves and to each other, 3 women, that they would go swimming every day in Lake Michigan throughout the winter, regardless of the weather, no matter how cold it got. And if you know Chicago winters, it gets extremely cold. There was ice floating in the river when they were swimming, in the lake rather. And they did this to kind of tide them over the year when they couldn't do much else in the world. But there were some unexpected benefits that evolved. Among them were the fact that the women bonded with each other over their shared commitment to this project, even though it was only a very personal project from which only they benefited. And also that it helped them, each of them, deal with personal tragedies and challenges that they were focusing on in their own lives. One of them had recently lost her husband. Another one was a recent cancer survivor. And the film is really inspiring when you see the way that the commitment that women made to each other and their fulfilling of that commitment by going to Lake Michigan every morning, regardless of the weather, was really uplifting and heartwarming. The name of the film is Swimming Through. The director is Samantha Sanders. She couldn't come with us, she couldn't be here with us from Chicago, but she sent this speech, which I'll read for you now. Thank you so much for this award. All of us who put our heart and soul into this film are extremely honored and grateful for this recognition. Using film as a medium to enrich the human spirit is a goal that I am continually striving to achieve.
documenting the growing friendship and support these three women gave to each other in the darkest of times, built around their shared passion, was a great joy. At a time when the world was frozen in place, their daily commitment to each other and swimming through the frozen lake served to enrich not only their spirits, but all of us who worked on the film as well. I'm happy that translates to the audience. Thank you. We'll make sure to get started. Thank you. About the film that we're showing on November 19th. It was originally called Jihad Rehab. It's now been renamed The Unredacted. You will probably not get a chance to see this film anywhere in America unless you come here on November 19th to Matilla Auditorium. Meg Smaker, the director, will be here to talk about the film. You can find out, as Sven said, there were great articles in the New York Times, the LA Times, the New Yorker, many other publications showing how unfairly she was treated. And very, very few film festivals were willing to buck the tide and show that film despite all the criticism. We're very proud of the fact that we're doing that. And if you can't make it in person, please tell everybody that you know to try to be here on November 19th. The only way this film is going to be seen outside of our screening is if people who have seen it insist that it gets a fair showing. So please come, or tell anybody you know who can possibly be here to do that. Thank you.
Sven.
Just a couple of quick omissions I want to correct. People that have helped us that should be recognized here. First, I'd like to thank Sue Williams, who's up here handing out trophies. She wears about 5 different hats. She's a former board member. She's involved in film submissions. She's helping us with the evening receptions, and she's been tireless helping us. Second, Craig Aitken is back there representing Flourish, Ojai. They've provided all the recording and streaming and Zoom interface equipment that makes us a virtual festival. And I want to thank Diana and Susie, who Craig works with at Flourish, Ojai. Third, I want to thank the tireless team from Hype, who are responsible for our media and social support. Colleen O'Mara, Logan Studley, and Dominique Mayorga have been working as volunteers as well as taking care of our social media, and they've been terrific. Also want to thank Terry Matala, trying to keep this along. They're back there in the corner, the Hype team waving at us. I want to thank Terry Matala, who sits in the front office at the Art Center and makes this possible for us, interfacing with us when we break the rules and blow up the place. And finally, the student population of Ojai has surfaced again and has been coming as volunteers, coming as participants. We want to encourage their submissions and their involvement in the festival. In that regard, we're going to start offering more monthly events on evenings or weekends. We're going to do seminars, we're going to do learning experiences and screenings, and we'll publish those on social media, and they will be available streaming. So keep an eye out for our email chain and participate. Please keep supporting us through the year. Thank you all.
And once again, our president, John Lambert.
I was just saying that the decision-making process, as has been noted, was extremely hard this year, which is something we absolutely love. It's really, really true. We have an outstanding number of films representing the wonderful expertise of up-and-coming filmmakers. That's what we're about. We're really looking at up-and-coming, newly emerging filmmakers. And that's what keeps us as a volunteer going. There's one more award, but we can't offer it yet. It's called the Audience Choice Award. Those of you who've been going to films, you've been getting these little square pieces of paper asking you to rip a corner and rate the films. That we are compiling those, and we will announce
through our website largely, and again at the programs coming up, which film the audience has chosen as their favorite. So the Audience Choice Award is still coming. There should be a piece of paper around, which is our festival evaluation form. We are certainly planning on a 24th year. By filling out this very half-page short form, it enables us to gather some feedback, would help us planning and getting even better for next year. So look around for one of those. Please fill it out, drop it off. We will look at it, and when January comes around and we start this process again, you'll have some input into where we're heading. Thank you for coming. May I ask all of you who have received an award to come up here. We're going to take a big group picture. You've been sitting a long time, so in the position of honorary person running this, you are released. Thank you so much for coming.